The Caribbean is a broadly used term that refers to a sea, its region, and its peoples. There are 13 independent countries in the Caribbean, many of which have become popular tourist destinations. Sandals Resorts International is the owner of approximately 17 resorts throughout the Caribbean, creating unique vacation getaways that offer something for everybody. Sandals is the parent company to Beaches, which operates two all-inclusive resorts out of Turks and Caicos and Jamaica. Jamaica is an independent country, while Turks and Caicos had a combination of local self-governance and British oversight. This region seems saturated with tourism, but it makes sense when considering the beautiful blue water and rich culture of the Caribbean, right? In 2017, my family and I took the 1,300-mile journey to experience Beaches, Turks and Caicos for ourselves. I would say I was excited to see the natural beauty of this exotic new land, but let's be real. All I could think about were the water slides and all-inclusive milkshakes in which my brothers and I would soon be indulgent. After all, the brochure my parents shared with us boasted 23 restaurants, 10 pools, a water park, even snorkeling. I brought my swimming goggles, bathing suit, and waterproof camera, immortalizing nearly every moment of this once-in-a-lifetime getaway. Now, let's look back at what my 10-year-old self thought would be most important to capture, and see what can be observed about the perceived exoticism of tourism. I'm Andrew Krause, and this is 10 Years Old in Turks and Caicos. The vacation began at the Providenciales International Airport, named after the island on which it was built. Turks and Caicos consists of roughly 40 islands, however only 8 are inhabited. I had never been to an airport like this one. When we got off the plane, we took stairs down to the ground. This was such a unique concept to me. I assumed it was because the airport owners wanted everyone on the plane to enjoy the nice weather. Now looking back, I know that this is what happens when an airport doesn't have the income to devote funds to an enclosed tarmac. Through further review, the Providenciales International Airport is nowhere near as luxurious as I remember. Dozens of tourists have aired their grievances online in travel forums. Beyond subjective experiences, some say that this airport simply cannot handle the flow of tourists on and off the islands. The airport only has 10 gates. Despite all of this, I only look back at my airport experience positively. And at this point, we haven't even arrived at the resort yet.
Beaches, Turks and Caicos was created with everyone in mind. That's why everyone thinks it was created just for them. And it was. Generation Everyone.
Yeah, all about a good time. Yeah, all about a good life. You won't believe it.
Believe it. That's why we've been voted world's best 19 years in a row. Beaches, Turks and Caicos, the #1 all-inclusive family resort. Call 1-800-BEACHES.
You could imagine the sensory overload that came with arriving to this resort as a 10-year-old. The hotel room was spacious and the entire property was pristinely maintained. The commercial wasn't lying when it exclaimed that there would be something for everyone. My personal favorite part of the trip had to be the water slides. One visual that stuck with me after the trip was the view from the top of the water slide, but not in a manner that you may expect. The highest level of the water slide tower gave excellent views of the colorful fun below, but it also gave a view of the intentionally hidden backlots of the resort. The following imagery was collected from a recent Google Maps Street View survey of the area, showing the perimeter of the resort in contrast with the surrounding area. Paved sidewalks turned to dirt roads, manicured shrubs turned to wildflowers, and the Tuscan architecture seen throughout the resort now feels out of context. Nothing within the safety of that fence is authentic to life in Turks and Caicos, so the question must be raised. Can I really say I've been to Turks and Caicos? While on the island, I rode water slides, swam in a pool, ate chicken tenders, and took color-coordinated family photos. I've done these things in some capacity many times before this vacation, so what about my experience grants me the credibility to say, Turks and Caicos is beautiful, I loved it? What I loved in reality was the meticulously designed resort, which never allowed for me to even consider feeling bored. The same experience could be replicated thousands of times across the world, and what would be different? Let's look again at the discrepancy between life and tourism in Turks and Caicos. This building is just down the street from the other street view images of the water park. It's presumably an employee building with either housing, offices, or a lounge inside. Whatever the case, its condition cannot even be compared to the standards that are upheld within the resort. This raises the conversation of priorities that are upheld in Turks and Caicos. It's clear that the main source of income in this area is tourism. so it makes sense that this is where most of the funding goes. However, this brings the discussion back to the authenticity of these tourist experiences. Why devote all this money to create something that, in the end, no longer has any connection or resemblance to the reason the island is a tourist destination? The Caribbean is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world, being home to 10% of the world's coral reef and over 1,400 species of fish. There are 6 official languages in the region and countless unique cultural practices, foods, and celebrations. None of this is to say that Beaches, Turks, and Caicos is an inherently bad destination. I made unforgettable memories with my family, and I would not trade that experience for the world. My point, however, is that if I were to travel back to Turks and Caicos, I would adopt a different perspective. I would seek to understand the island, not the resort. I would try new foods, hear new languages, and hopefully leave with an understanding that the world is much bigger than myself. I should be easier on myself, however, because I'm no longer 10 years old, and no longer in Turks and Caicos.